Howdy folks, and welcome back to another episode of the Sith Element. My name is Richie, and this show is all about Star Wars: The Old Republic. This is episode number 3, and today I'm going to rant a little bit about the transportation and getting around in the game. But before I do that, I'd like to mention that last week there was a bit of news. Electronic Arts had an earnings call where they announced that over 2 million copies of the game have been sold. They also made note that 1.7 million people are active in the game currently. That means that they're either still in their trial period or they have paid for a subscription, and over half of those 1.7 million are actually paying customers at this month who have subbed up. So this is great news for BioWare. What they have said is basically that at 500,000 subscribers, people paying for the game, they would break even. At about 1 million, they start to turn a profit, though a small one. And at 1.7 million, that's a pretty decent amount of profit. So at this point in the launch, they can kind of take the worst case scenarios, that they've probably prepared for. They can take those scenarios off the counter, and it's a successful launch by all accounts. So great news for the game, great news for Electronic Arts and BioWare and Star Wars fans anywhere. Now into today's topic. It's a little bit more negative than that news. I've been talking to my friends and different people that play the game. I kind of hate the way transportation works in Star Wars: The Old Republic. They seem to have taken a lot of conventions that we were used to in different MMOs and kind of put them in the game and haven't really improved on them much, and in some cases took some giant steps backwards. So before I get into it all, the best way to describe this, I have to give you an example of something that happened to me in-game. And I'm going to try not to exaggerate it because the reality of it was bad enough. And I don't remember all of the specifics exactly, so don't kill me if I get parts of this a little bit wrong. But in general, I got to a part in my class quest, my personalized story, where I had completed my missions on Hoth. And I was way, way deep into the planet of Hoth. And the next quest in my chain told me to go to Dromund Kaas, which is another planet, one of the early planets that I've already been to. So here I am, deep into Hoth, and I have to make a decision. All right, do I want to travel all the way back to the space station on Hoth, or do I want to use my quick travel to kind of get there instantly? Now, I decided to use my quick travel, which is on a 30-minute cooldown. And what that allows you to do is teleport to various bind points on the planet. So I used that. I got back to the beginning part of the planet. I then had to take basically a shuttle to the orbital station above Hoth, which is a loading screen. And then once I loaded in there, I had to find my hangar, and then loading screen. And then you have to run across this huge hangar to your ship. And then you get on the ship, loading screen, choose your new planet, Dromund Kaas, loading screen, get off of the planet, all right? And then you basically have to run to the taxi point. Now, I'm on Dromund Kaas at this point, and I take a taxi, which is basically like a flight path in other MMOs, and you travel, I can travel to the other side of the planet. Now, the problem with Dromund Kaas is there are 2 separate taxi routes, and they don't connect for some unknown, ridiculous reason. So now I'm flying from one taxi point to another, then I have to get out, mount up, go into Kaas City, take the second taxi point, and then finally get to the Sith Citadel to watch my class quest unfold. So I probably spent, and I used my quick travel, remember, I probably still spent about 6-7 minutes, I'd say, traveling to get here. Now, I get to watch a 2 or 3 minute cutscene or whatever, make some decisions about my storyline. I forget if there was a battle or not, but at the end of it, they told me to go back to my ship and use my intercom so I can talk to my companions about what to do next. Okay, so I have to go out of the Citadel, taxi, travel on a mount to the second taxi, take that back to the starting section of Dromund Kaas. All right, loading screen to get to my hangar, run through this empty hangar. Now, just a quick aside about these hangars. These are beautiful little things where you can see the space, and there's a huge hangar, and you can see your ship in there. And it's very realistic that you have this kind of section to go through, but it serves no purpose. There's no one to talk to. There's nothing going on in this thing. It's just eye candy. And then after you see it 2 or 3 times, all it is this huge annoyance because you're spending 10, 15 seconds. You can't mount up in here. You're spending 20 seconds or so, however long it is, somewhere between 10 and 20 seconds running across this empty thing just to get to your ship, just to get to another load screen. I think they need to take out hangars, by the way. So anyway, you get on your ship. And now I'm having my conversation. And through the conversation, I pick my story points, and then they tell me that the next step is to go to the fleet. I'm like, okay, so the fleet is, if you haven't played or you don't know, it's basically like the central city, the hub where everything goes on. So I go to my ship's computer, tell me to go back to the fleet, and I travel to the fleet, and again, there's a hangar, loading screen, all this stuff. I get to the fleet, find the guy to quest turn in, and I basically turn in the quest, and it does nothing. There's no one even to talk to. It's just quest complete, and my mission updates, and it says go back to your intercom on your ship. Okay, so I do that. I'm not going to go through all the steps, but you get the idea. I get on the intercom, and they tell me to go to Drummond Koss back to the Citadel. And I'm like, really? And again, you go through this whole thing, and this whole time my quick travel is down. There's no way for me to get from point A to point B very quickly. And, long story short, I know that I'm taking up a lot of time with this, but long story short, the next part was to go to a different planet. And I think on this, 30-minute play session, I spent around 20 minutes traveling and about 10 minutes listening to dialogue. And I find this happens, and this is a very extreme example. This was the worst of it I encountered. But I'm finding this day in, day out while I'm playing the game. I'm spending a lot of time waiting to play the game. And it's not fun. There's another thing there's a problem. I mentioned the fleet before. There are daily quests on the fleet that you can only get on the fleet. This is for your PvP dailies or whether you're doing your flashpoints or whatever. You got to pick up and turn in these quests on the fleet. So I find a lot of times I spend my session, I'll log in and I logged out in the fleet. And I'll start on the fleet and I pick up the quest to PvP. And I want to get this done every day, but I find I don't want to leave the fleet until I get my daily done because I don't want to have to come back. So if it takes me 2 or 3 times of queuing up to actually win a PvP, war zone, sometimes I'm going an hour 15 minutes, and I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs on the fleet, waiting for the queues to pop, waiting for me to get my win. And that's a problem. I feel constricted by the game. I can't actually continue my PvE quests or my storyline because I feel like I have to go back and turn that in. So that's one of my big problems with it. The other problem is Alderaan specifically, but this happens in other things. I see forum threads about this. Is sometimes the taxi points that you are unlocking on a planet, they don't actually connect with each other. And if you don't have the connections, then you can't actually use the taxi system effectively. This happens on Alderaan a lot. There's a north side of the planet and the south side of the planet, and the earlier quests are on the north, and the later quests on the planet are on the south. And to get from north to south, you can't. If you miss, there's a flight path, a taxi connection way out to the east. That for whatever reason, the quests don't seem to lead you out there, or people miss the quest that leads you out there. I don't know what exactly the issue is, but you miss this point all the way out on the east. And if you do that, you can't go from north to south in the instant. So my friends did it. I found forum posts about the same thing. People are spending so much time circling around this planet because they missed that path. So Alderaan needs to be fixed, but there's other examples of it. And just in general, I find that a lot of these things, while it may be realistic to take time to travel to different places, they just are cutting out a lot of the fun and making it so you spend a lot of time just trying to navigate the game. And it's a bad sign because there have been times where I actually log off for the night because my quick travel is down, or because because it's going to be too much of a hassle for me to get there, or like I said before, because I want to log out at the fleet. Maybe I'm at the fleet using the Galactic Trade Network or something, and I'm like, do I want to go do my quest? Well, no, tomorrow morning I want to log in, get my PvP quest right away and stuff like that. So those kind of decisions, where I'm logging out of the game because I feel confined by the transportation system, that's a bad sign. So all of that said, all of those frustrations said, what can we do to kind of fix this thing? to be fair, before I actually get into what I think they should do, I will mention there is a fleet pass, an emergency fleet pass ability that all characters get that you can transport instantly back to the fleet. The problem is it's on like a 17 or an 18-hour cooldown, so effectively you can only use this once per day. That just seems crazy to me that you would have it's just the ability to get back to the main town and you can only use it once per day. That's horrible. And there is a fleet pass that you can buy if you have a security token, or if you get the mobile app so that you have a security link to your account. You have access to a vendor that sells these fleet passes. They're like 1,000 credits per fleet pass. And those you can use. I don't think there's a cooldown on them, but it's still, you have to buy them and you have to hold a stack of them in your inventory. So there are some things to make things a little bit easier. I wanted to mention them just to be fair. But in general, I think that the transportation getting around in the game is a little bit flawed at this point. So there are two major things I'd like to see them implement in the game that would totally fix things. I mean, it doesn't actually make things elegant, but these are kind of quick fixes they can put in that just ease some of the problems I see with the getting around to the game. The first one is the quick travel ability. You should be able to use your quick travel on any planet and choose the option of quick traveling to your ship, directly to your ship. Right now, you can only go to certain bind points you've unlocked on that planet. And sure, it can help you if you're way far on a planet and you want to get back to the space station. It's great. It could save you a couple minutes of flying on the taxis. But you're still, as soon as you get there, the first thing you're going to be doing is going into a loading screen and then through a really long hangar and then getting on your ship with another loading screen. Some planets even have that orbital space station, which drives me crazy. It's just like this another loading screen so you get to this space station so then you can then find your hangar. And it's just an extra step. Why do you have these orbital stations? Why do you have the hangars? I don't get it. But anyway, if you can quick travel right to your ship, this solves a lot of issues, because now whenever you're getting off a planet and you want to go somewhere, you're cutting out loading screens, you're cutting out a lot of time. Just get me back to my ship when I want to go to my ship. The cooldown right now for quick travel is 30 minutes. I think that could be 15 minutes and not really do anything harmful to the game. I think that's the sweet spot, 15 minutes. World of Warcraft used to have an hour on their Hearthstone. Then they changed it to 30 minutes, and then they finally went to 15. And 15 minutes feels right for me for this type of ability. So that's a minor change I think that they can put in, but the major change would be quick travel to your ship. The other thing I think they need to do is allow you to select all your daily quests from your computer terminal. Like you can do the space combat missions, you can do that from your terminal. If I can get my PvP mission and any flashpoint, flashpoint's not as important because a lot of the flashpoints you have to get onto the fleet anyway to do. So that's not as big a deal, but it would be great to just have an interface where I can select all my dailies right from my ship. Now, if I can teleport to my ship on a 15-minute cooldown and select my dailies right from my ship, then beautiful. I'm set. I no longer have issues with the transportation for the most part of the game. I'd like them to get, rid of the hangars, get rid of the orbital space stations, but, beggars can't be choosers. I think those two changes would go miles to making the game a better experience. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you having the same kind of frustrations as I am with the quick travel? Do you think my suggestions would improve things? Are there other suggestions that you have that you think you would like to see Star Wars The Old Republic put in place to help the players out with this? Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. And also ask any questions that you might have as well for me. But that's going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for watching. As usual, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can be notified when future videos are released. I really appreciate every single subscribe I get. Share my videos with other people. Put them on forums, put them on different websites. Spread them around so that I can grow my channel. You guys can help me. If you guys are fans of mine, please help me do that. You can also find me on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. I'll put all the links below or on the screen or both. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but please follow me on these different places so you know what's going on. I also do some live stream shows for Massively.com every week. You can go to Massively.com and check out the MV guide to find out when I'm going to be streaming some video games. Okay, guys? Thanks so much for watching, and good night. Or good day. Depends on when you're watching this. How about just goodbye? Goodbye. All right. Let's get to Hoth here. Here we go. Travel now. Going to Hoth. Okay, let's get off our ship. Yeah. Okay, Hoth. Loading screen. Every day I'm loading. Oh, load. I'm dying. Ah, okay. Here we are on Hoth. Oh, look at this. Airlock. Pointless airlock. Long corridor. Nothing here. I have to run this way and push a button. Space station. Ah. Now I'm on the space station. Am I at Hoth yet? No, I'm at the space station above Hoth. I gotta run here. Use a speed boost. Now I gotta come over here and take a shuttle! Why? Why are you doing this to me? What have I done? Now I gotta load again. Finally. Finally I'm here. I finally got to Hoth. I'm very excited. It took me a long time. They really wanted to simulate the whole Outer Rim experience. And elevator! No, elevator! Why? Kill me. Alright, I'm just gonna log off.